Good night, everyone. I am Janet Turner, reigning Miss Montserrat 2019. Tonight, I'll be reading a book for you entitled Chee in Paradise. It was written by Carl Otley Mitchell and illustrated by Anne Catherine Lowe. Chee is a vervet monkey. He lives on the beautiful island of St. Kitts. He lives with his 6 sisters and brothers, 7 if you count the newborn baby still hanging under his mommy's tummy. Chee and his brothers always traveled together and looked out for one another. Once, the oldest brother, Ma, slipped down a drain pipe and hurt his paw while the monkeys were playing hide and seek. Chee lowered his long tail into the hole to pull out Ma. Another time, Chee ran through a cushy bush, and John, his younger brother, spent hours picking spikes from the bushes out of Chee's fur. It was the brother's job to look for food for the rest of the family. Vervet monkeys like insects, flowers, nuts, and leaves, but their favorite food is fruit. They love mangoes, soursop, bananas, guavas, and golden apples. But these fruit were sometimes hard to find. Much of the delicious fruit was in the gardens behind the tall walls and fences. The walls and fences were not a problem for the monkeys. They could climb over anything. The problem was the dogs. Everyone seemed to have a dog roaming in their yard, and they would chase the monkeys if they tried to enter their gardens. Chee and his brothers had heard of a house where there was no such problem. The garden had many fruit trees, at least 20 of them, and many of the monkeys' favorite fruits. All year round, there was something blooming. They heard that no one lived in the house, no humans, and no dogs. Ma and John did not really believe that it existed, but every day Chee searched for this house. He was sure he would find it one day, and so he did, quite by chance. It was a very hot Sunday, too hot for the monkeys to play their usual games. Chee was bored, and so his mind began to work. He needed a new adventure. He said to his brother, "Let's go exploring somewhere we have never seen before." Ma yawned. "It's too hot to go out. I'll stay and get Mommy to give me a bath." Chee looked at John. "You coming?" he asked, walking off as he said it, knowing that his younger brother would follow as he always did. The brothers wandered through the high grass just outside the territory and found themselves on a road that they had never seen before. They spotted a tree inside a garden, fully laden with soursops. The house had a dog, but she had taken refuge from the heat under the green stems of a thicket of ginger lilies and was fast asleep. Chee and John could hear her snoring softly. Chee wondered. Chee whispered to John, "Cover me. I'm going in. Call out if she wakes up." John cried out softly, "No, Chee, it's too dangerous." But Chee had already left. He quickly scaled the walls and scrambled through the garden and up into the soursop tree. He sat there eating one and then another ripe but firm fruit. John waited outside, watching the sleeping dog. After a while, John grew tired of waiting for Chee. He went closer to the gate to get him to hurry up. The monkey's scent drifted into the dog's nostrils, and she woke up. She jumped on her feet and barked a warning. "Don't even think about coming in here." John called out in panic, but it was too late. The dog had smelled Chee and was running towards the tree in which Chee was hiding. The dog barked and jumped as high as she could, snapping at Chee. The tree was very tall, and the dog's teeth were dangerously close to Chee's pads. Chee looked around and saw the garden next door, on the other side of the wall. He thought, "If I leap from this tree to the wall, and just as quickly from the wall into the tree on the other side, I might escape." It was a long leap, but Chee knew he could do it. He took a deep breath and made the jump, and escaped into the other garden. He sat in a tree listening. He heard no dogs and no humans. He was alone. All he could hear was his own heart beating. Then it hit him. "I found it!" he shouted. "I found our paradise." Chee roamed freely around the unkept garden, choosing his fruits. It was even better than he had imagined. Ripe mangoes, sweet papayas, huge soursops, and papa, all at his fingertips. And the smell was delightful. There was even a broken jar that was filled with water. Chee put his head in for a drink and almost fell in. The longer Chee stayed, the more excited he became. He couldn't believe that he had never found this garden before. Finally, he remembered John waiting for him near the other side of the garden, and he decided to leave. Chee tucked some more fruit under his arms for his brothers. He ran to the front gate, jumped on the wall, and leaped over. Zoom! A car rushed past, just a few inches from Chee's nose. Chee screeched in fright and jumped back on the wall. He was too terrified to think. He was finally calmed. He peeped over the wall and saw a busy road in front of the house. Large trucks, bushes, buses, and cars rode back and forth on the road. To make things worse, the dogs in the house on the left hand noticed the monkey and were barking ferociously. On the right side, another dog was barking, and an elderly man had come out of the house. He had a long, thick stick in his hand, and he shook it at Chee. Chee looked all around him. To his left at the three dogs, to the right another dog and human in front of him at the busy street. He thought of his brothers waiting for him at home and made a decision. He took a deep breath and jumped over the walls towards the traffic, staying as close to the side of the road as possible, tail high in the air and running faster than he ever had in his life. He scampered home. Thank you guys for listening. This is the end of my story. Good night, Montserrat.